In this session, I will be discussing the topic of negative lapse rate and inversion as well as the different types of inversion. So, in the usual case, the temperature decreases with the increase in altitude, but negative lapse rate it will happen in some unusual cases, that is when there is unequal cooling rates that is existing on the surface of the earth, then the temperature of the environment increases with altitude. Okay, then the lapse rate becomes inverted or negative from its normal state, and this negative lapse rate occurs under conditions of inversion, that is, a state in which warmer air lies over the colder air below. That is, close to the surface of the ground, the air will be colder, and above that lies a warmer layer, and this continues up, and thereby the temperature increases with the altitude. And such temperature inversions represent a highly stable environment. And this is a graph between height and temperature, and here it is indicated the normal lapse rate, the negative lapse rate, which is an upward sloping graph, and also an isothermal state where there is no change in temperature. Okay. And there are two types of inversions: radiation inversion and subsidence inversion. Radiation inversion, it's a phenomenon that is happening due to the unequal cooling rates of the earth and the air above the earth. So you know that the earth cools rapidly and more quickly than the air above it. So naturally the temperature in the environment will be less on the surface of the earth than it will increase above it. Okay, and this will happen, or this condition will exist over a few hundred meters, and it is a nocturnal phenomenon which will uh, eventually break up with the rays of the morning sun. And radiation inversion, uh, it is a kind of inversion that also contributes to the formation of fog, especially when the air is wet, and this fog will catch all the gases as well as the particulate matter, and it thereby stops their upward lifting. That is, it will prevent the upward lifting of the pollutants, and thereby the pollutants will get concentrated in our close environment. And this phenomenon is more common in winter than in summer because of longer nights. And valley areas, that is, uh, topography is one of the factor which determines the dispersion of pollutants. So in the case of valley areas, as it is surrounded by uh, a high ground, as a surrounding areas near a valley is somewhat high, uh, then it will prevent the horizontal movement of air, and thereby the pollutants get concentrated in that valley. Okay, so that is about radiation inversion. And next comes the subsidence inversion. It is usually associated with a high pressure system, and it is characterized by the sinking or subsiding motion of air. That is, when there is a high pressure system such as an anticyclone, air will gradually sink into that high pressure zone, which is surrounded by a low pressure area, and the air circulating around the stationary high pressure descends at the rate of 1000 meter per day, and as the air sinks it will get compressed and get heated up to form warm dense layer, and the layer above that portion will be cool air. And this kind of inversion layers are formed at a height of 1600 meter from the ground, and this kind of inversion also prevents or stops the upward movement of polluting smoke, and will cause the pollutants to get concentrated in our close environment. And when the thickness of this inversion layer is less than 200 meter, then extreme pollution is said to occur, and Moreover, this substance inversion is much dangerous than the radiation inversion. Why? Because this kind of inversion will exist for several days, and thereby the impact on the human beings as well as other creatures will be more compared to radiation inversion. Next one is double inversion. That is, in some cases, radiation inversion and substance inversion will happen simultaneously, and which is known as double inversion. So, we have explained about um, uh, inversion, that is negative lapse rate or inversion, and as well as the different types of inversions. Okay, negative lapse rate is the phenomenon that is happening under unusual cases, that is the temperature increases with the increase in height. Okay, and that is as a result of an inversion. It is a state that is said to occur if the warmer air lies over colder air, and thereby the temperature of the uh, atmosphere increases, or the temperature of the environment increases as height increases. And there are two types of inversions, that is radiation inversion and subsidence inversion. Radiation inversion is a nocturnal phenomenon, and it is happening due to the unequal cooling rates of the earth. And radiation inversion can also result in the formation of fog, which will trap all the gases and particulate matter and thereby prevent their upward lifting, as so that the pollutants get concentrated in our close environment. Then subsidence inversion, it is yet another phenomenon which is happening in case of a high pressure system such as an anticyclone. The air will sink into that high pressure zone, it gets compressed and get heated up than the when compared to the air below, which is colder. And this kind of substance inversion, it is happening at a height of about 1600 meter from the ground, and it is more dangerous compared to radiation inversion because it will stay for several days. And in some cases both radiation and substance inversion will happen simultaneously, which is known as double inversion. So hope you understood the concept of negative lapse rate and inversion. Thank you.